Well, good Wednesday morning to you. We have a special deeper dive into our weather today and a weather alert day for Hampton Roads. This stream, a lot of times we'll take this deeper dive and we'll talk about things going on all around the country. We'll touch on a few things that are having a wider impact, but we're really focusing this one a lot on Hampton Roads and what's going on. We do have the weather alert day for Hampton Roads. And if you're watching and you're not from this area, you might wonder, well, what exactly is that? I'll explain. We issue weather alert days whenever there's going to be impactful weather to our region, and there's a potential for severe storms today. I'll break down what all of those threats are. We also have a wind advisory from 10 a.m. this morning through 4 o'clock this afternoon. So a lot going on with the weather today, and that's why we've declared this weather alert day. We're going to talk about how to best navigate today's weather. There are going to be some opportunities for you to get some things taken care of and some things that maybe you haven't thought about, but I want you to take care of before these storms impact our region. And then after the storms, what's coming next? A big pattern change. We have been talking about this now for the past couple of days, and everything's right on track. So while it's very, very warm today, that warmth and the humidity and an approaching front sets the stage for our weather alert day. So that's our first topic. We're going to take a close look at this, the chances for storms with our weather alert day. I'm going to head over to the board and talk to you a little bit more about some of the impacts and the timing on this for the weather alert day. Let's start off with a look at when. Well, today. Through the day, especially from late morning through the afternoon, and by early evening, most of the storms should be out of here. What impacts are we looking at? There's a potential for severe storms, a level 2 threat for most of Hampton Roads, the metro area, and northeast North Carolina. It extends up the eastern shore. I'll give you the look at the graphics that the Storm Prediction Center, who's outlined for the severe weather and our outlook, and who maybe doesn't have as good a chance but still needs to pay close attention. I'll show you that in a minute. Gusty winds, as I mentioned, the wind advisory, and a huge temperature drop coming up from this afternoon's high to tomorrow morning's low. We're talking 40 degrees difference for some locations. So our advice, the thing you need to do is stay close to the forecast and our forecast updates. Of course, you're watching us now on the 13 News Now Plus app. And if you're watching us on YouTube or any of our other platforms, if you don't already have our mobile apps downloaded to your cell phone or to your tablets, your devices, you want to make sure you have that. And as we stream live and have special weather coverage, if needed with severe storms this afternoon, we'll be pushing that information right out to your phone so you can have it on the go. All right, here's a look at what's happening. We had some rain overnight, and that rain has been racing along. Now, I did a movement kind of analysis tracking the storms and found the storms early this morning to be moving from the south-southwest to the north-northeast. The individual cells were moving between 55 and 60 miles per hour. So those winds cranking and carrying those storms very quickly off in that direction. The actual progress of the line, though, to the west was pretty slow, only about 10 miles per hour, maybe 12 miles per hour. So while we had the storms, the cells racing along, the actual line is creeping along slowly to the east. And that's why we have the chances for storms a little bit later on. You'll notice we're getting a little bit of a break right now, and that's a big deal. So we're going to take a look at this and, again, how long this break is going to last. We got into the early to mid-morning around 8 o'clock or so, about an hour ago. I was looking outside in the back parking lot here at the stations in Norfolk, and looking out over the lot, we were seeing some clearing. Actually, the sun trying to peek through, so you see some of those little clear spots in the clouds. But this area of rain during our morning show, which ended at 7 a.m., it was out around I-95, and then you've seen over the past couple of hours, it's worked about 20 miles eastward. It's got to continue that track, and by 11 o'clock or so, I think we'll see the western parts of the area dealing with that heavier rain, and eventually, as the daytime continues to heat, and you're going to see it especially those areas where it stays a little bit drier, we get up in the lower to mid 70s, and an approaching cold front comes through. That's what's going to trigger those strong to severe storms, and that's why we have the weather alert day set up. But we do have a break right now, and this is your opportunity to get out and take care of things you might need to take care of. Now, the flash flooding potential, it's level 1, but it's something to consider. And again, the setup, as I told you, these cells are moving from the south-southwest off to the north-northeast. And where you have one cell, maybe it drops a decent amount of rain, it could be followed by another cell, same area. Decent amount of rain, same area with another cell and another cell. And when you get that, that's where you have the potential for runoff, flash flooding, street or urban flooding, certainly something we'll be watching. This is not going to last that long. I mean, by early evening, it will be offshore. It's not going to hang out for days or anything like that. But there's certainly the potential for some runoff flooding issues, and that's what our concern is going to be. And that encompasses the entire 13 News Now viewing area, maybe the Outer Banks. You know, they tend to deal with the runoff a little bit better with water on both sides. It just runs into the ocean or the sounds. But just about everywhere needs to be at least aware of this threat. Now, this is through 8 o'clock tonight, and again, our model's projecting widespread 1 to 2 inches of rain. Some areas could see over 2 inches in that 2 to 4 inch range. I think it'd be closer to 2 inches, but still a lot of rain coming this afternoon. And again, it'll start late morning, but continue through the afternoon. And by about 7:30 or 8 o'clock, it should be offshore. Let's take a look at the severe weather threat. It's not just for Hampton Roads. It extends all the way up towards Cape Cod, and you can see Rhode Island, Connecticut. Back through the Big Apple, there's a severe weather threat. It comes down through the Jersey Shore, parts of Delaware and Maryland. It runs through Virginia, eastern North Carolina, and then it's just a level 1 threat down to the south. We'll take a closer look, and I want to talk to you about the actual cities and counties under our different levels of concern. That level 2 risk, the slight risk, does include all of the 13 News Now viewership up on the eastern shore, Accomack and Northampton County. Around Matthews County, level 2 threat. You go farther inland on the Middle Peninsula, you get back towards Gloucester, maybe West Point, some of those areas. It's a level 1 threat there. And the northern neck, level 1 threat. But level 2 for the eastern shore, for parts of the Middle Peninsula, right on the bay. You come down to the peninsula itself, and there we're looking at Hampton, Buckrow, right up to, well, most of Newport News. Certainly, I'd say the eastern and southeastern 2/3 of Newport News. Level 2 threat. You get up towards Fort Eustis, level 1 threat there. Williamsburg, level 1 threat. Southside Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Suffolk, we are all under the level 2 threat for severe storms. Isle of Wight kind of bisected there. It goes to level 1, areas west of that. And then all of northeast North Carolina, this is an area that is more likely to deal with the storms. Now, with this threat, and again, level 2, this is why we have our weather alert day, we have the potential for scattered severe storms. Now, there could be, well, we know there's going to be strong winds with some of these cells that come through. I don't anticipate much hail. We'll talk some more about the severe weather threats, but a tornado or two is a possibility. Here's another way to look at this. Again, the main threat is going to be damaging winds. We have that wind advisory. We expect widespread winds to gust up around 35 to 40 miles per hour, a little bit higher, closer to the coast. Where we have the severe storms, we could see winds in excess of 55 miles per hour. So there's a moderate threat of damaging winds. Hail, pretty minimal. Not too worried about that. Street flooding, another concern, as I showed you the model projections, 1 to 2 inches widespread locally, over 2 inches of rain possible. And then you've got the tornadic threat. It is low, but it is not non-existent. So what I mean by that, there might be an isolated tornado or two that spins up. That's why our team, Hunter, Evan, and Tim Pandagis, all going to be watching very carefully for you through the afternoon. And then by early evening, it'll be pulling away that threat. So this is, you know, these are all potential conditions we could deal with. Main concerns, though, damaging winds and the potential for the runoff flooding. All right, so here's our next topic, ways to best navigate today's weather. And I mentioned this during our show 13 News Now at daybreak, some things to think about, all right? The first thing, you want to stay alert to the wet conditions. They've been out there already this morning. We've had them widespread. The showers came through. We're getting that break right now, and this is the time to take care of your property. You want to go around, check your yard. So many folks have wonderful Christmas and holiday decorations up. Maybe you've got some yard ornaments or inflatables, different things going on in your yards to celebrate the holidays. This is the time right now between 9 and say 11 o'clock or so that you really want to go around and make sure everything is secured. Maybe you bring things in. If you've got a bunch of electrical stuff out all over your yard, you want to make sure that stuff's not exposed to some of the heavier rain that's coming. And if you have to run any errands, now is also the opportunity. I always think about mom. You know, my mom never wants to go out when there's any kind of rain at all. She really hates it. She's getting a little more advanced in her years, and I understand it. So I tell her, hey, Mom, you've got a dry period here, or look for rain at this time. This is kind of what I'm thinking here. If you've got to run out to the store, maybe grab some groceries or pick up a prescription or something, now is the time to take care of that, because later this morning and into the afternoon, the rain comes back and it will be heavy, and those winds are going to pick up as well. Now, you want to stay weather aware this afternoon with that severe threat, and then bundle up tonight. We're going to talk about not only how cold it's going to get, but how windy, and then how those winds are going to make the air temperatures feel. The feels like temperatures or wind chills tonight. It's going to be really, really chilly. All right, so here's a look at another way to think about the winds. So where's your trash can? All right, it's our wind forecast. You can change out these trash cans with yard ornaments, with the decorations or whatever you want. But the bottom line is, with winds gusting up around 40 miles per hour, certainly can be knocked over, could wind up in your neighbor's yard. And if you get some really strong winds, could even find some of that stuff down the street. So that's why I'm really encouraging you now to take steps to get everything together. All right, so the forecast over the coming 9 hours, we're in that break right now through 10 o'clock. Probably 11 for most of the areas closer to the coast. But after that, you see the rain chances jump up to about 50% around 11. So western parts likely to see the rain, still drier near the coast. It'll be around 50-50 at noon, but that line is working closer to the coast. As we get into the afternoon, 70% at 1, 70% at 2, 100% around 3 o'clock. We expect the rain widespread with potentially some storms in the mix. And then those chances for rain still pretty good late afternoon through a messy evening commute. And then as we go past 7 o'clock, 7:30, things will be drying out. Take a look at our almanac for yesterday, and I just wanted to show you, we did pick up almost 1/10 of an inch, but we're still about 1/4 of an inch below average for the year. So Hampton Roads, we need the rain. What we get today is actually beneficial. Keep in mind, we've been in moderate drought across the entire viewing area, with the exception being some of the northern areas up on the eastern shore have been in severe drought, and that extends over to the northern neck. So some of the areas off to the north, an even greater need for rain, and we're going to get that rain today. So there is some benefit. All right, what's coming after the storms? That's the next topic, and we'll take a look at this. I mentioned the huge drop in temperatures. We're going to go from temperatures this afternoon in the low to mid 70s down into the mid 30s, and that's at the airport. So about a 39-degree temperature difference between today, with temperatures about 18 degrees above average, 3 degrees below average for tomorrow morning's low. Huge swing. Inland areas might even be a little bit more dramatic than that. So I'd say 40 degrees, pretty good kind of general number for the temperature drop between this afternoon and tomorrow morning. No doubt it is going to be cold. You want some more evidence of the cold weather that's coming? Take a look out to the west. We've got the front on the backside of that system, enough cold air being pulled in to take the rain and transition it to snow across parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. You get up into the high country, they'll get a little more snow up that way. The front is out there. It is marching eastward. It will come through late afternoon and into the evening. So we've been tracking showers throughout the morning, and right now we're getting a little break. Let's take this map full, and I'm going to switch over to our live radar sweep and take a little closer look at some of the wet weather that's out there. We'll give you a feel for that. Let's go ahead and stop it there, and we can take a little closer look. We'll zoom into Hampton Roads. Let me switch over to the high definition radar with the live sweep. You see a little bit of lightning detected as well out to the west. Some of these cells back out across Sussex and back into parts of Southampton, just west of Franklin. We have that heavier rain out that way and some lightning detected. Down into North Carolina, we have some heavier rain as well. So you can see that extends back down to just east of I-95. Now, as we take a look, let's zoom in, and I want to show you. We'll do a little closer look at some of the heights with these storms so you can get a feel for it. We've been looking for some of this stuff to build a little bit. Right now, it's still pretty low level. We're talking about heights with that more intense rainfall only to about 10,000 feet or so. Some of the lighter rain tops reaching 20 to 23,000 feet. So not too terribly bad. These aren't the massive towering storms that we get in the spring, or you know, you get into the severe storm season, sometimes you can get some tops really high up there, 50,000 plus feet. In this case, it's lower, but the rain is intense. So I did want to show you that. Now we'll take a look again at the areas with this heavy rain as they are approaching, and I'll take that off the screen here, just to give you a feel for some of those areas that are heaviest with the precipitation. You can see back across parts of Surrey County and crossing up towards Williamsburg. As these are moving along, and again, it's been about 55 to 60 miles per hour. I could put some cones on here and talk about this. This cell just off to the west of Williamsburg, moving up towards Skipwith Farms. You can see Oak Tree, Skimino, Gum Fork, some of the different communities just off to the north. That's where this is headed. So Green Springs, you're about on the leading edge of that heavier rain. It's going to be happening very, very quickly. Let me take that off, and we're going to take a look at this next area just down, and this one's going to roll right over Williamsburg here within the next 4 or 5 minutes or so. This intense rainfall headed towards Williamsburg. Some of the other communities include Portobello, Clopton, White Marsh, Gloucester there. If it holds together 948, it certainly looks like it will. Again, these moving very, very quickly right now. Now we can look a little farther down to the south, show you some more heavy rain, and this is near the radar site. You know, a lot of times you'll get different patterns around the site, but we are picking up this heavy rain down around Littleton and just out to the west of Sebrel. This is moving off, and again, we'll eventually reach Ivor and maybe Elberon, some of these other areas. Druryville, you're on the backside of that heavier rain now. It's getting a little bit lighter, but guys, this is just the beginning. Keep in mind, it's 9:30. The nasty stuff is coming later this afternoon. So while we have some heavy rain already, and we can take a look, let me just put up the precipitation accumulation. And this is just by radar estimate, and it'll take a second to pop up there. Let's see if we can get it coming up. And of course, it's giving me some hard time here. But anyway, with the precip accumulation, I'm not sure why that product hasn't updated there. But we do have that range starting to add up for some of those inland areas. And we'll see if we can't get that straight. Oh, there it is. Okay, I don't know why it took so long to get it up there. All right, so we do have the precipitation, and it hasn't been tremendous yet, but we are getting amounts. And again, as we go through the afternoon and we get those heavier cells kind of one right after the other, these areas are really going to fill in with the heavier amounts. So we'll just take a quick look at a few of these areas. You can see over an inch, some of these areas with these green dots already. And there's so much more to come. It's going to be some of these spots that could see a little bit more. In general, back across Isle of Wight, about 1/4 of an inch, not too much there. Just off to the east of downtown Suffolk and the southeast by radar estimation over the last 12 hours, they've had 1.7 inches, some heavier rain down into Gates County into North Carolina as well. Most of Virginia Beach, in case you're wondering, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch with more to come. That's why we have the concern. You know, you get another 1.5 inches or so on this, some of those areas in that 2 to 4 inch range of precipitation. So that's what's out there right now as we take a look. And again, some more lightning detected back out around Surrey. All right, as you can see, closer to the coast, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, dry for now. This is that time to run those errands, take care of things around the metro area. Most of northeast North Carolina in pretty good shape as well, but things are going to be changing up. So let's get into the future cast, and we'll time this out for you. This is what you want to see. How does this play out? Well, the heavier rain out to the west is going to start working farther to the east, and it's going to eventually fill in. This is around 10:30 or 11. Again, we'll take the maps full, and I'll go back over to the big board and talk to you about how things play out. Temperatures will climb into the upper 60s and low 70s. Again, the showers kind of filling in. I mentioned 11 o'clock, western parts of the viewing area dealing with the rain. It'll still be drier for some areas right along the coast around 11:30. As we go towards noon, you see the wet weather filling in. This is, by the way, the HER model. That's the high resolution rapid refresh model, and it updates every hour. So this one's really biting on some of those heavier downpours here through noon, and as we get into the early afternoon, 12:30, 1 o'clock, we could see some very intense rainfall. Right now, my intent is to stick around through the noon show. I might even go out and do a little storm chasing if we get some of this stuff kind of filling in around the noon show. As we look ahead to the afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock, we've got chances for showers and storms. And some of these are the ones that really have that potential as that cold front's getting closer to produce some of those gusty winds. There could be some isolated severe storms, especially across North Carolina, but all the way up through South Side and along the eastern shore as well. Now at 5 o'clock, we're still looking at wet conditions for the evening commute. It's no bueno, no good, but we will deal with the rain. And then as we go past, say, 6:30, 7 o'clock, that front clears the area, and eventually the wet weather moves out. By 8 o'clock, the heavier storms are gone. There might be a few lingering sprinkles. Note the temperatures in the 40s. So we go from low 70s to mid 40s around 8, and then it gets even colder as we go through the overnight. Skies clear out, and overnight we drop back down into the 30s. Skies are clear, temperatures dropping down around freezing for some of our spots tomorrow morning for inland areas, but at that point, all of the wet weather will be gone, and the wind should help evaporate some of those wet road spots. Still, if there's some standing water on the sides of the roads or some really poor drainage areas, and we get temperatures down around freezing, there could be a few areas that deal with some ice off to the north or some of the inland areas. So we'll have to keep a close eye to that, and we'll do that for you on daybreak tomorrow morning. All right, we'll take a look at the wind chills and the forecast. By 9 o'clock tonight, after the rain is gone and those winds start to crank in from the northwest and the west, that wind chill's going to feel like it's in the mid to upper 30s. So feels like temperature 35 at Newport News, 41 in Elizabeth City, 37 in Virginia Beach. That's 9 o'clock this evening. So you talk about some weather whiplash with the temperature swings, you're going to feel it. Tomorrow morning, wind chills expected to be in the mid to upper 20s. And then as we look ahead to tomorrow afternoon, wind chills in the upper 30s to low 40s. So quite a bit cooler there. The forecast for Hampton Roads after today's highs in the low to mid 70s, mid 40s to upper 40s tomorrow, upper 40s on Friday. We do recover Saturday into Sunday with mid to upper 50s there, 60 by Monday. I do think we're going to see a few showers kind of hit and miss Monday. They'll be isolated. Could see a few on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, mostly sunny, temperatures staying pretty close to average as we go Thursday into Friday. Maybe a few more showers for the following weekend. Quick mention, out on the water, gale warnings are going to go up later this afternoon. Small craft advisories are up right now, but these winds are actually going to pick up late in the day and tonight, and eventually gale warnings going into place. So highs today, low 70s, low to mid 70s in a few spots. Chances for storms this afternoon, very good. Plan on that. Plan on those inconveniences. A messy evening commute is very likely, and it's going to be windy as well. Remember, wind advisory from 10 a.m. this morning, starting in about 25 minutes through 4 o'clock this afternoon. On the eastern shore, mid 60s there. We'll see upper 60s to near 70 for the peninsula. Chances for showers and a few storms. Down across North Carolina, better chances for storms, some possibly strong and severe. Overnight tonight, any rain that lingers will end early. We're going to see falling temperatures overnight, mid 30s at the coast, a little cooler inland, and then 46 tomorrow, sunny and colder, breezy, so we'll call it blustery, especially in the morning. Here's the 7-day forecast, and you can see how those temperatures do recover back to 55 by Saturday. We've got that weather alert day. We need everybody to stay mindful of the issues that we've discussed discussed here this morning, as we will be watching and working hard to keep you informed here at 13 News Now. But once that clears, just get ready for the colder weather, and then temperatures eventually recovering as we go through the weekend. Early next week, low to mid 60s and a chance for a few isolated showers. I remind you, you can find me on social media at Craig Moeller on Facebook, Instagram, that's Craig Moeller TV, and on X or Twitter, find me at 13 Craig Moeller. Hopefully you've enjoyed this edition, our live stream. Again, we're prepared here at 13 News Now to provide more live coverage for you throughout the day. Obviously, when there's severe storms, we have a whole set of protocols. We jump into full coverage with that. We have the weather alert day. We have crews ready to respond to whatever develops out there in terms of our weather coverage. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be sticking around this morning, and you might see me out there at noon today as well on 13 News Now, tracking and maybe chasing a few storms. We'll see if I can get out there, but hopefully that's the case, just to keep you informed. That's what we do here at 13 News Now. Be sure and check back. And again, if you are watching us on the Plus app, you've already found us here. You can always catch our coverage right here, and tell your friends about it as well. Some folks may or may not know that all of our newscasts continue on 13 News Now Plus. We'd love to have you checking out those live streams, and we'll keep giving you the information. Have a great day. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.